everyone, and welcome to True Words Aren't Beautiful. Here I am on the third peak of KD2LM. I can't pronounce the name, so I'm not going to bother, but you can find it in the description when I have likely copied and pasted it here. Anyway, so I have just traversed through Kitang Lad and Dulang, and then we will have Maagnaw later. It has been a very interesting trip so far. This is where it really feels like pilgrimage. And that this has a lot to do with the intensity of the climb and also the beauty that I will post pictures of later on when I can, because I cannot do it justice with descriptions or my current skills for drawing. Anyway, so just wanted to say that an hour ago I almost died because I was carrying what was apparently over 23 kilograms of weight in my backpack, having brought a lot of water, about 3.5 liters of water on top of 2 bottles of 32-ounce flasks of aqua flask water, and those flasks are heavy alone when they're empty. And I have a 2-man tent from the North Face, which I'm currently sitting in comfortably right now. And my 4 claws, however the hell you pronounce it, backpack is heavier than it should be. The event host said that he, at this point, seeing how heavy my gear is, in order to make our flight tomorrow, he's going to carry it himself, and I'll carry his 8-kilogram backpack instead. Because what took everyone 3 or 4 hours to get here to this camping point, or this campsite rather, took me about, I got here at 3:30, and we left at 8 in the morning. So yeah, that is over 7-ish hours. I can't do math right now because I am still recovering. The reason I almost died was when I was doing a rope climb on a 90-degree portion of this hike right here. Due to the heavy weight, well, I accidentally swung to the side, and because I'm only about 71 kilograms, I haven't weighed recently. I could have lost or gained, give or take. Well, I almost fell off. And this is what makes me think of the do what you can with what you have part of the just do shit philosophy, because, well, I came here as a total beginner. People will say I'm not that much of a beginner since this is roughly my 8th through 11th mountain at this point, because KD2LM is 4 mountains. And I am fit, except I've used what they are saying is inferior gear. I have very little experience, and had I actually had better gear and better training, instead of just going for it, I could be moving a lot faster and navigating through things which feel very different when you're walking around like a tank. There are times where I end up on what felt like a water slide, except it's a mud slide, on these really, really steep declines. And what I'm used to going through, I have to crawl under and really, really get down on the ground with my heavy bag. And I can't fit through certain areas. When I step in mud, it's a big thud right now. So anyone who's played Dark Souls, there's a character you'll find at the bottom of this tower who's so heavy that if you take off all of your gear, you just roll and dodge and avoid him. And he's so slow he can't touch you. That's what it feels like. Or, if we're talking about traditional role-playing games, if I'm used to moving like a ninja, then I'm moving like a tank right now. So, not even a barbarian. Probably something heavier. And when we talk about just doing shit, using what you have and doing what you can with it, there's nothing saying that you shouldn't get better gear or get better training. But if you can, you really, really should take the opportunity to do so. Because as I've discovered, it is the difference between life and death. And a lot of comfort. My ex-girlfriend, Dana, under 100 pounds, yet her advantage is she's been mountaineering for years, over a decade. She has experience, and she has better gear, and she knows the language much better than me. All I have are 4 books, and when I've showed it to native speakers, it being my collection of 4 books, because they're all part of the same series rather than plural. Here I am thinking aloud again, excuse me. All the native speakers look at my books and say they suck, and I have to agree because it is not street Tagalog. It is formal textbook Tagalog, which no one speaks. But give me credit for trying, yeah? Anyway, better gear, better equipment. Same thing, sorry. Better gear, better experience. In my mind, I thought, there's no way that I should allow this to happen. If she can do it, so can I. I am doing it. I'm not even using a porter because I have not raised enough in donations to pay for porters. Although they're highly suggesting that for the next climb in March, because that's even harder. The hardest in the country. Well, we'll see. I could hold off on pizza for a while, even though I am planning to reward myself with a pizza after this climb. Well, I got here out of sheer perseverance and hard-headedness. Heavy gear, little experience, just do shit. It can be done, but it should be done a lot better, if possible. One other thing I want to talk about, besides using what you can with what you have, sharing. Sharing really is caring, because the other night, there was a guy, 2 guys actually, who forgot their sleeping bags. And whether you believe it or not, in the tropics, it can get pretty cold here up on the mountain peak, because we're about 3,000 meters above sea level here. In Dulong, that plus the wind chill, we were getting ready to stay in the same tent together so the guy wouldn't freeze. Say what you want, but disregard any jokes about homophobia. When you're trying to survive, you will hug and cuddle together because you want to stay warm. Someone lent him an extra sleeping bag, thankfully, so he didn't need to cuddle me, and I don't care, as long as he's fine. Then I also have my emergency blanket, which I could have given him, but he seemed to be fine. I almost froze, but I did just fine. So, when I think about the sharing, people are very happy to share, whether it's the ibuprofen when I was having a headache the first day, a sleeping blanket, and an emergency blanket for this guy and this other guy. People offering to help carrying my bag for me. Because it all comes down to this. In life, we're in this together. You don't have to be camping, you don't have to be in the army. Just the mere fact that you remember your humanity when you're in nature. You really, really will ask yourself, why do we hoard? Why do we create so much separation? There are some people who say, bring your own power charger, your own power bank. Because they feel that they struggle bringing their stuff up here, so why should you benefit from their struggle? Because a power bank is kind of heavy for some people. Others say, hey, I know what it means to be able to communicate with your loved ones or take some photos. Go ahead and use some of our power. People share snacks, gear, and themselves. Why is it so hard to share, whether you're donating cash to help someone out, teaching them something, or more importantly, giving them your time and listening, considering? Could do a lot more of that, is what I say. Anyway, I wish I could be more profound. I wish I could organize my thoughts a bit better. But right now, I am still recovering from the shock of nearly falling off the mountain. And let's not forget, when I'm trying to climb down with that heavy bag, there's lots and lots and lots of mud. And when I'm trying to balance myself because I might slip and grab onto something, there were a couple of times I nearly overextended my spine forward. And it's scary because with all that extra weight, it's like having an oversized luggage beyond the weight capacity when you check into an international flight. So, anyone who thinks that's funny, it's not. So, I will be cautious if I need to. There were a number of 90-degree climbs with rope. One of them, one of the rangers helped me going down by taking my pack for me, but the rest of it, I had to do it myself. Coming up, yeah, I had to climb with 23 kilograms in my bag, plus my jacket, plus my side pouch, a waist pouch, or fanny pack as some people call them. Climbed with rope. I climbed grabbing roots tied to wet rocks